Welcome to Converge 2024, talking about the Capture the Flag, CTF. Now, the last 2 years, we've interviewed the mastermind behind the Capture the Flag. This year, we're looking at the mastermind's first lieutenant here that helps do what's called QA, right? You test to make sure all the things are good, all the challenges. Hold the mic right here. No, there we go. All right, yeah. So what's your name?
My name is Yoshi.
Okay.
I'm a technical account manager based out of Tokyo, Japan.
Tokyo, Japan.
Yep.
I love it because this is truly a global event every year. Can you think of some of the other nations around the world maybe where people participated?
Yes, this year I think the teams participate from the Australia and also Japan, then the Europe and the US teams, almost all over the world.
Wow. So it really is a virtual event, people all around the world. And tell us a little bit more about what do you do with the CTF?
So every year, I'm doing the QA for the challenges. Before the event happened, as if implemented all the challenges, then I am the first person to enjoy these challenges. They make sure all the challenges can be solved. Then it was fun. Then if I found any issues, tell to the as if we fix before that.
Now, when I typically think of a software QA engineer, they're not usually checking to make sure it's fun. But that's great. I love that you said that. We want these to be challenging, but also fun.
Yep.
So this year is a new story. What's one element of the story this year that you thought was fun?
So this year, the attacker was compromised the managed service provider at the victim's environment. They using the remote management tools to remote access, then using the lots of living of the land binaries to lateral movement, downloading suspicious files, then doing the malicious activities. Very realistic the activities, the event, very interesting.
Now, I know we have a lot of new people in cybersecurity, and they might not have heard of LOLBINs, living off the land binaries. What is that?
So if the attacker uses the malware, it is easy to catch by antivirus or EDR tools. So to avoid the detection, the attacker's mind, they utilize the native command of the operating system. So we call the living of the land binaries.
Okay.
Yes.
So there's usually some PowerShell element. So I'm thinking of like base 64 encoded PowerShell, maybe something like that. Would that be an example of, or more of a binary, like an executable that's native to the OS on Windows or Linux, maybe?
Yep. So not only the PowerShell, they utilize the command, the basic OS command to download the files or encoding the files, kind of stuff.
Yeah. So what's this? So you told us a little bit about the story. It's an MSP, a managed service provider. So this is somebody who's responsible for other people's systems. And if they have a compromise, that's really bad news. Yeah, so what happened? Tell us a little bit more about the story this year.
So after attackers maliciously utilize those tools, I think this is a bad practice, but the administrator of the system leave the password file on the system. The attacker found the password file. It contains a list of jump host, the computer's name. So attacker now can list of the servers in the system. Also the username, the password. So utilize those information to do the lateral movement.
Wow, so they just left the door wide open. If here's a list of passwords and all the jump systems, they don't need much more than that, do they?
Yeah.
Wow. So I know each year there's a diversity of skills. Can you talk about some of the different skills? So if I'm considering creating a team for Capture the Flag, and particularly this challenge this year, what types of skills would I want on my team?
So I think the types of attacks, evolving like every year. Then this, particularly the Tanium CTF, it contains more emerging technologies like utilize the LLM or utilize the container to solve the challenges. So I think catching up those new technologies is one of the key to solve the challenges.
So in addition to our traditional skills of Windows, Mac, and Linux, and network traces and memory dumps and things like that, well, maybe not memory dumps, but so you're saying emerging technologies like LLM or AI enabled adversaries maybe might be something you'd want to study if you've not learned that yet.
Maybe. Yes.
Okay, maybe we see. We're not going to tell you for sure. Yeah. Okay. Let's see. How many teams did we have participate this year?
80 teams.
80 teams this year. Wow.
Wow.
Yeah,
that's a lot.
That is a lot of teams. Yeah, from all over the world. And these are all Tanium customers of every different skill level. What would you say? Because I know this is with the mystery and the skill, it's intimidating sometimes. People are afraid to enter because they don't think they can do it. What would you say to a beginner who wants to try this? Is it worth their time? What would you encourage them? Why would they want to do this?
So particularly this Tanium CTF, it's a competition, but also it is good learning opportunities for the investigation. So we also deliver the CTF in Japan. Then we got a lot of feedbacks from the participants saying, oh, this is great. The other CTF is just trying to compromise the servers or do the binary analysis. But the Tanium CTF is actually investigating the intrusion. That's the good learning opportunities. So yeah, for the beginners, especially for the beginners, just enjoy the challenges, not get much pressures for the other competition. I think enjoy solving the challenges, the understanding what's the attackers, the tactics or methodology. Yeah.
Now, the last few years, there's been something special for the top 5. Tell us about that.
So this year, I think we had top 10 team go to the escape room because the top 10 team is very close. Then we decided to allow 10 team to move the escape room. Especially for this year's escape room, it's really interesting because there is the ransom attack on the system. Then attacker actually leave the ransom notes. Then at the same time, attacker leave the encryption script that contains the encryption key. So the challenge is now try to decrypt the attacker's the encrypted file using the Tanium deploy the functionality.
Wow. So we've talked to the beginners, now talking to the advanced participants.
Yes.
If you make it to the top 5, normally this year 10 because they were so close, there's an additional escape room challenge. You don't have as much time either, so you have to work fast. You got to be really good to make it into the escape room and then to make it out of the escape room. So Yoshi, I want to thank you because you do get to see this before everyone and you get to test. And that's really important because we have to make sure that there's a way to unlock the puzzle, so to speak. Right. And I appreciate that. Takes a lot of time.
Yes, but I really enjoyed it.
Yes. And we hope you enjoy it too. That's why we do the Capture the Flag every year at Converge, also virtually throughout the year. So stay tuned to your Tanium news outlets, newsletters, your account teams, whoever you talk to at Tanium, and watch out for these virtual Capture the Flags that come up later. So if you've been a participant, thank you for trying it. And please tell your peers and bring more people. We can always add more teams. We would love to have more teams every year. We've had really good participation, and we'd just like to see it grow. So that's it for this year's Capture the Flag at Converge 2024. Until next time, go Tanium.
Go Tanium.